the black indigenous people mixed in with the African people who were brought over, the 3% that was brought over here. And when we were put on those plantations and we were amalgamated over here, we became a whole different group. We became a brand new group that made us foundational black Americans. Okay? That made us foundational black Americans, ladies and gentlemen. And so many black people who are Aboriginal here mixed in with the other Africans who came over. This is why we can say that foundational black Americans really got things started in 1526 when those Moors, those black Moors that were actually brought over from Spain, they were enslaved because the Moors were fighting the Spanish over there, and there were Moorish prisoners of war. They brought them over here to San Miguel del Guadape, which is around the border of South Carolina and Georgia. The slave colony, well, they tried to start a colony there, and they had the enslaved Moorish people. The Moorish people rose up, ran the Spanish out of there, and then those black Moors blended in with the Native American tribes on the East Coast. Okay, so we've always been blending in with the Native Aboriginal people, forming a new ethnic group, which are foundational black Americans. This formation got started 1526 in large numbers. Now let's be clear, before that there were other trade expeditions coming from the old world over here, but officially in large numbers, where we start seeing the black people coming over from Africa mixing in with the Aboriginal people here, 1526 in large numbers. And this was the culmination of what would become foundational black Americans. Okay? We can't chop everything up to Africa, because even when the black people were brought over from Africa, their Africanness was stripped from them. So they were forced to become a new people. Okay? They were forced to become a new people. So it's important for us to understand that unique lineage. And when we became foundational black Americans, we started brand new cultures. We started to talk differently. We came up with a different dialect, a different diet, different ways to create herbs and medicines. We created different things in order to survive and sustain ourselves. You understand? So we started to create a whole different culture. What lineage? You African, ain't you? That's been a con game that's been run on us, ladies and gentlemen. The African word put on us is a con game. That's not to disrespect African people. We're genetically African, just like most people on the planet are genetically African. But we've let people politicize the word African and put it on us, and that word has been used against us, if we're going to be very honest. Because culturally now, we, like Caribbeans and other groups that migrated out of Africa, we are not classified culturally, or should not be classified culturally, as African, because we have a unique culture outside of Africa. Certain things make up different ethnic groups, and it's not always a difference of DNA. For example, in Africa, there's a gazillion different tribal and ethnic groups. They're all on the same continent. They all have the same DNA, but they still have different cultures and different ethnicities, ethnic differences. Just like with Aboriginal tribes here. It's always, they got to question our authenticity when it comes to us acknowledging Aboriginal heritage. Now, You got to be careful when you acknowledge the Aboriginal heritage, because we have to understand black people, even the ones who are Aboriginal, were still blended in with a lot of African people who were put on those plantations. And also because of the segregation laws, all black people were pretty much put in the same communities together, even after slavery. You understand? So it's very important to understand all of this. So when we talk about foundational Black Americans, we're talking about the people who were classified as Black mixed in on those plantations. We created a whole brand new culture, and we have to respect that culture. And don't be ashamed to respect that culture, because that is who we are.